Hello, my name is Dr. Joanna Kujawa, and I would like to welcome you to my workshop on um, Mary Magdalene and the Mysteries of Isis. This is a part 2 of the little talk that I gave a few days ago, so you can check it also on my YouTube channel, where I explained the 4 levels of ascension, discussing the Gospel of Mary Magdalene and the fact that it has to be discussed that the Gospel itself was discovered in Egypt. And there's a very strong connection between the Gospel of Mary Magdalene and the esoteric traditions of Egypt. So, having said so, I thought that I would also share the fact that I have been working not only as a scholar, but also as a seeker, as a spiritual disciple who was initiated to an esoteric tradition over 20 years ago, and that I work with the Gospel of Mary Magdalene for it will be 20 years in a few months. So, like every sacred text, the Gospel of Mary Magdalene opens up to you the more time you spend with this. Because, like many esoteric texts, the Gospel of Mary Magdalene is written in a way that pretty much only the initiates can understand, or people who want to be initiated by the text. So in my case, I was initiated to a different esoteric tradition and I was not seeking anything new. However, once I started to work with the Gospel of Mary Magdalene, it initiated me. It keeps giving me deeper and deeper understanding into many layers of this very difficult text, because it's not an easy text to read. However, whichever uh, sacred text you choose, and in my case it is the Gospel of Mary Magdalene, it speaks to you. So you have to approach it both with discernment and with devotion, and like in every relationship you have to give it a loving time and you have to be open-minded. So the way it happened to me, as I already mentioned, I didn't even I was already happy in a different esoteric tradition, but as I actually described in my book Via the Goddess, to which I leave a link at the bottom of this video, as well as to my workshop. 20 years ago, no, it was now more than 20 years ago, I just finished my PhD and I was invited by 2 men to go with them to the Holy Land because they made some archaeological discoveries there. And before we went, as we were discussing my possibility going along with them, one of them, and I call him in the book the adventurer, we are having like a nice dinner, some nice pasta and wine, and he passed the Gospel of Mary Magdalene, over the table to me. And I was really surprised because, I was studying in the Pontifical Institute of the University of Toronto, and I was a very good student. I'm always very committed to my studies, and including spiritual studies. And then I was surprised that I had never heard about this Gospel. Not only it existed, I have learned everything by reading Lelouch's book about how it was discovered, and then did my own research and started to study this. When I was also in Jerusalem, I managed to go to many churches of Saint Mary Magdalene, and I realized that she was venerated in many places as the disciple of Jesus. And I also connected with Gnostic teachings of which mention Mary Magdalene many times, whether it is not only the Gospel of Mary Magdalene, but it is also Pistis Sophia, it is the Gospel of Philip, and even in the Gospel of Thomas, she's mentioned at least once. In the Gospel of Thomas, she's mentioned once. And in the Gnostic Gospels, she's also portrayed as the most advanced disciple of Jesus. So I think we should really listen when she's teaching us something about ascension. And ascension is really an inner job. We have to work on our consciousness, and she explains it to us step by step. However, the step that I would like to mention to you now, it is the third step, which relates to Egyptian concept Sekhem. In the Gospel of Mary Magdalene, it is called nous. It is this kind of hook between our soul and the higher divinity in us or outside of us. But, in esoteric tradition, what is within is also without, and vice versa. And in Egyptian tradition, it's called Sekhem, and the English term the scepter comes from this. And it relates to, at this level, we start to have access to very luminous spiritual powers, which in some circles could be called the magic. However, scepter has two ends, and so which means that basically you can use this higher knowledge and higher abilities, which accomplish in any spiritual tradition if you put yourself seriously into it, for the to evolve spiritually, which is to ascend or to rule over others. And in Isis tradition, it is called either lower or higher magic. So lower magic, it is you now have these fantastic abilities that other people don't, and you just, let's say, be a big corporation and you destroy the environment and you don't treat your employees well, or you become a politician or something like that. And very few, so it's the path of very few, choose the power to evolve spiritually. And this is what both the teachings of Mary Magdalene and the teachings of Jesus are in the Gospel of Mary Magdalene, which focus on the nous, how we can connect with this amazing potential that we have within our bodies, within our spirit, within our soul, and evolve spiritually. There is so much talk about evolution, physical evolution, or even AI nowadays. But what is forgotten is the immense possibility of a spiritual evolution, which in modern terms is really called an ascension. So I really would like to invite you to come to this course. It's a 3-hour workshop with me, and it is a live workshop. If you cannot come, you will get a recording and you'll get a handout, and you get, we have meditations and journaling and so on. So you can listen to it anytime you want. It will be run on the 19th of April at 7 p.m. EST, New York time. I am personally in Australia, so it's the following day for me. And I think it is a really valuable, if you're a seeker, this is a really valuable text. And as I said, I have not been seeking the Gospel of Mary Magdalene and came to you. So for example, if you listen to this recording or you think, why would I take a workshop on the Gospel of Mary Magdalene? I would tell you, I didn't have any intentions either. But when it knocks at your doors, it probably means that you should be taking it. Also, I spoke with an organizer, the magical Egypt, Vanessa McNeil, and we allowed for you a payment in 4. So if, for example, you worry about the cost of the workshop, you can pay in 4. So and it is now included in the link below. So I hope to see you there. This is a workshop of great value, which gives us practical tools. And also, once again, I would like to recommend as an introduction to this my book, The Other Goddess, which is available everywhere on Amazon and also in other places. And just let me check, I have to put on my glasses, whether I forgot to tell you something. No, I think I covered everything that I wanted to do in this video because I don't want to make it too long. So if you wonder why this video came your way, that may be a sign. It was a sign for me 20 years ago when I had no intention doing any of this. 20 years later, I'm still learning and being initiated to this mystical text, which was, pushed on the side, and of a very powerful female enlightened teacher, Mary Magdalene. And we are going to connect it with esoteric traditions because the Gospel of Mary Magdalene was found in Egypt and has very deep connections to Egypt also when we talk about 4 levels of ascension. And very briefly, I covered the 3rd level of ascension, which talks about nous, our connection with not only higher wisdom, but with the spirit, which is within us and without us, and also connected it to the concept, Egyptian esoteric concept of higher and lower magic and Sekhem. How can we use the immense abilities that lie within us, either for the benefit of all or for manipulation? But of course, the Gospel of Mary Magdalene asking us to use it for our own evolution, because only then we can help others to evolve. So thank you for your time, and I hope that I will see you there. Thank you.